Over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to sell you Northumberland as one of the top destinations to go to in the UK, if I can be bothered.
I love Geordie people. They're very friendly.
They are lovely, aren't they?
Yeah. You're a boxer.
Why? Whoa, must admit, I lived in Northumberland for about 4 or 5 years. My boy was born here as well. I never knew there was a waterfall here. And over the next week, I'm going to try and explore as many quirky and far out places as I possibly can, including the castle of a 12th century vampire. Join us. And these are the sand dunes we get all the way along the northeast coast of England. And I would argue this coastline of Northumberland is among the most beautiful in the world. And the tide's in.
Christmas is done, New Year is upon us. We decided it was a good idea to head out into Northumberland National Park and get a bit of outside time. First of all, we drove about 30 minutes west to a town called Hexham. Hexham's actually the town where we lived before we came back to Bangkok. Jacob was born in Hexham. Well, we started to be born in Hexham. There were some complications and he ended up being born in the RVI in Newcastle. Anyway, we're dropping my wife off here today to meet a really good bunch of local friends she's got here from Hexham, and they were all part of the same sort of, when Jacob was a baby, they were part of various groups, baby massage group and stuff like that. So I'm going to drop her off and then we're going to drive another 30, maybe 40 minutes across the Northumberland moors to what I'm hoping is a pretty wonderful place. Join us.
We're the only two people without boots, but that's how we roll. Oops, I'll do that for me, Jake. Make sure we shut the gate. This is the old dam. Oh, and there's Bellingham Golf Course over there. Lovely.
In 1833, Hareshaw Ironworks was established by Messrs Biggie and Partners. That's right, Biggie. Could have been the original notorious BIG. Anyway, he was hustling here for about 15 years because all the essential raw materials, iron ore, coal and limestone, were here for mining, together with water from the nearby Hareshaw burn. They employed about 500 people at the peak of his operation, and right there on the hill there was the foundry. It contained 70 coke ovens, 24 large roasting kilns for calcining iron ore, a range of coal stores, a blacksmith shop, a wagon shed, stables and stores. There were tramways and wagonways that linked several buildings, the mines and the quarry. The pig iron that was created was transported by cart from Bellingham to Hexham, where it was reheated for casting. Now, the ironworks was in continuous production for about 15 years when it was closed. It wasn't manageable anymore, in the fact that there wasn't a train, there wasn't a railway line built out here to Bellingham, and everything was auctioned off and a lot of the buildings were demolished.
all we have to do is keep the wee burn to the left. We're on our way to Hareshaw Linn, a waterfall nestled in the Northumberland National Park, and on our way here we've seen quite a few animals. We saw a deer sitting in the middle of a field, we saw a couple of pheasants, squirrel, and in this place there's supposed to be all sorts, red squirrels and badgers, and see what this is like. I have no idea. I haven't done this for a while. I had no idea there was a waterfall in Northumberland. Let's have a look.
When out wandering in the UK, one of the main differences between the UK and Thailand is the lack of wild animals. There's nothing in the UK that's going to attack you and hurt you. Unless you're very, very unlucky. The thing to worry about when you're out walking is mushrooms and berries. Don't eat any mushrooms and don't eat any berries. The UK is literally full of poison, and you will regret eating any nice looking berry that you see on the tree, however tempting it may look.
And this is ancient woodland. You've got over 300 kinds of mosses and lichen and stuff like that. That's what I've been really impressed about with in Northumberland since Christmas. I've been out every day and all the beaches are packed, all the countryside footpaths are packed. Turns out people from Newcastle and around Northumberland love their local area. They like to get out in the countryside as much as possible, not just with dogs, and this time of year is the perfect time to do it, when everybody's on holiday for Christmas. Good to get out of the house, Jake.
What?
Is it good to get out of the house?
Yeah, it's nice.
Wasn't easy getting him out, but he's 17, he's enjoying himself with his cousins, so what can you do? After indulging or overindulging over Christmas on all sorts of shit, it's been a struggle getting out again. It's been a struggle getting the boy out again. But I think for the next 7 days, we're going to go to some spectacular places around Northumberland, possibly over the border into Scotland, but it's going to be like another world. For those of you that have seen the Thailand videos, this is going to be like another world. It's going to be breathtaking. Join us. I tell you what, these hills are a hell of a lot easier than Thailand. Don't even need this water. We've made it up a little steep bit. What a wonderful spot. I mean, we're in the middle of winter here, so in the summer this will be full of green, it will be full of flowers and, dare I say it, pixies and elves. But it's a magical, magical place that has a totally different, vibe in the winter. It's not quite as ethereal or magical, but nonetheless pretty nice. We're on our way to Hareshaw Linn, which is a waterfall just off the town of Bellingham. Bellingham, although it had a church there from the 1100s sometime, really rose to prominence because of this place. This valley that we're going into now used to absolutely rage with noise and smell, for this once upon a time was the home of iron, and we're actually only about 25 miles from the place where they invented the steam locomotive engine as well, Stephenson's rocket, down in Crawcrook or Ryton near Prudhoe. This is a wonderfully serene place now, but if you go back 150 years, it would have been industrial as all but Jesus. Can I ask you something? How do you feel about your new trainers, mate? I told him if he comes on the walk, we'll go in the sale and I'll get him yet another pair of trainers, because why not? At some stage it turns a little bit Hobbit-esque or Lord of the Ringsy. Absolutely stunning. What a lovely spot. One of the smaller waterfalls. So you have to be a little bit careful underfoot. It's a bit slippy, but hey, I've got my old Air Max 90s on, should be alright. Let's go and see the main attraction then. That was pathetic. Anyway, let's go. Just a quick one, son. Look, for a boy who's grown up in Thailand, lived all his life in Thailand, we've only been back here a couple of times. How are you enjoying yourself so far? Have you found the weather and stuff like that?
I've loved it. It's been great.
What about food?
I miss Thai food.
Yeah, we've been eating a lot of beige food, haven't we, mate? From Greg's and stuff like that.
A lot of beige.
And how have you enjoyed just being in England, mate? How does it differ from Thailand, apart from the weather?
Well, everything's different, really. If you look at the architecture, the buildings, all the shops, what's in the shops, it's like a whole new world.
And how are the people here in Newcastle? Because we're only in one small section of England, aren't we?
I love Geordie people. They're very friendly.
They are lovely, aren't they?
Yeah.
Cheers, son. He's right there, Geordie people, which means people from Newcastle or Newcastle upon Tyne and the surrounding area. Some of the friendliest people in the UK. They really are, if you can understand them. Now, I didn't notice where bridge number 1 was. That's bridge number 2, and we've got to go over 6 bridges to get to Hareshaw Linn. This, as I said, is bridge number 2. I know nothing about this sort of thing, but apparently this is a haven, like I said before, mosses, lichen and stuff like that, but there's also badgers, red squirrel, woodpeckers, all sorts of wee little creepy crawlies and beasties. See if we can go and find some. Approaching bridge number 3, approaching bridge number 3. When I touch the water turned red. Bridge number 4. Bridge number 5. And we've got a couple of uphill bits now. After Thailand, this is an absolute doddle. And a great way to work off the Christmas stodge. Bang! Is this bridge 5 or bridge 6? Or I don't really know. Just go with the flow. Kind of like the log I did this morning, also clearing Christmas stodge. Oh, beautiful. into the Lynn proper now. So this is a good luck thing. Look, this is all coins in here. Must be a wishing tree or something. Look. Strange, isn't it?
This confused me somewhat. I mean, I like to think I know a fair bit about England's old traditions and folklore, myths, history, that sort of thing, but I'd never heard of this. This is a money tree, and apparently you hammer a coin in here for good luck. However, this particular tree apparently used to be more for children, and the children used to hammer coins in to receive luck from the fairies that lived in this ancient woodland. So the coins are left as a gift to the fairies, and it's thought that it will bring good luck and keep the water clear. But I've got a question to ask, and I'd love it if anybody knows. I have a little feeling this might be just made up, because there's one where I've just been. I just did a bit of a Google search. There's another place, there's a fairy glen where you go on the way up to the waterfall, and there's a tree exactly like this one. Now, it seems that the log is a fairly recent addition, because I did talk to a couple of people and they mentioned that they don't remember it being there when they were children. So if you know anything about these money trees, whether they are a tradition and whether they did used to be about, or whether it's just a load of made up bollocks, please let me know.
Pretty stunning. Like a wee beauty. Clamber down and have a look. Look at this. I just watched Carl's Thailand video up in Northumberland National Park, and that looked pretty wet. This doesn't feel like too slippy rock. Famous last words. Let's have a look. It's alright. It's not slippy. Yeah. If you go slowly, it's not slippy, I promise you. You know, we got all this way, we can't stop there, can we? Oh. Wow. Oh, we won't clamber down there, but look at this. That's a pretty special place all round. Look at that. Right. Back up here again then, look. So I promised Jacob some new shoes when he broke them, but I've just told him now he's not getting any. What do you think about that?
Shouldn't have gone on the walk. Honestly, my day's ruined.
You get a new pair in.
My disappointment is immeasurable, my day's ruined.
He might get a new pair in the sale that bought him 2 pairs before he came out. But
Nah, look at the stuff, look at the size.
we'll get some more, mate. It's alright. Your dad's loaded anyway, mate, doesn't matter. I'm literally so rich, What? Am I a boxer?
Are you a boxer fan?
Why? Whoa, easy boat. He's a bit of a beast, this one. It's only a short walk, it's like 1.5 miles in, 1.5 miles out. It's like 4.7 kilometres in and out. A little stroll. What he doesn't know is we're on to the next walk now. Do you hear that?
What,
Right.
2 pairs of shoes if we go on another walk?
Yep. Ready?
Yeah.
Let's go. And he's going to give you a review of Greg's, aren't you, mate? He is. He's going to give you a wonderful review of Greg's, aren't you, mate? New pair of shoes?
For the walk?
No, for the Greg's. Another pair.
Maybe.
You heard it here first. He's already done it anyway. This is pretty good, isn't it? It's mad to think that all these giant fir trees and a lot of this foliage was actually planted by the Victorians. And this place rose to prominence from about 1830. It was all done by 1848. They auctioned off all the machinery and everything, and it was done. The Iron Age of Bellingham. They built a whole town and left behind a rather nice gorge and walk, which I'm sure was here before, but it means there's steps, etc. I'm talking nonsense now, boy. And this place really does conjure up images of elves and fairies and folklore. It's a rather magical place, or a magical woodland that's going to change with every season, and change quite dramatically as well. Over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to sell you Northumberland as one of the top destinations to go to in the UK, if I can be bothered. Now, I don't know if you can make that over there, about there, look. There's something under there, and it's got a gate and there's a padlock. Anybody knows what that might be, please leave a comment down below. I must admit, I lived in Northumberland for about 4 or 5 years. My boy was born here as well. I never knew there was a waterfall here. And over the next week, I'm going to try and explore as many quirky and far out places as I possibly can, including the castle of a 12th century vampire. Join us. Just the lower levels there, look. Didn't even need it. Look, get this picture for Russell, look. He likes things like that, he's old, isn't he? And this is the beast for the whole 3-week trip back to the UK, or pretty much just Northumberland. Look, a nice 1 litre Toyota iGo. Gets you from A to B.
We're going to finish this video off with a really quick look around the historic market town of Hexham. Unfortunately, this is winter in England and it gets dark around about 3:30, so 3:30, 3:45, here we are walking around the town. It's about 3 o'clock, and as you can see, night time wants to come.
Oh, we lived in this town for about 4 years. This is the old library. Let's have a quick look at the old park. We've got the old bandstand there and the lights. But when we lived here, it's when our son was born here. We lived here till he was 3.5. So this town's got an awful lot of memories. Everywhere you go in England or Britain, we have these memorials for either the First World War, the Great War, or the Second World War. It used to be the doctor's surgery just down there where we used to go in. Jacob was a little baby. So walking through this park, the playground was through there. Wonderful spot. Won't walk all the way through here, but it's typical of all the old market towns, all the old towns in England that have parks in the middle of them as like lungs, breathing spaces and bandstands and all stuff like that. Beautiful spot. Reminiscing, the last time 3 of us walked in this park together about 14 years ago when he was 3 years of age. Get a big bird's nest up there, that'd be for the huge crows or rooks. There we go. Hexham Abbey. Beautiful spot. This video is more about memories, really. Sensory garden over there, you can walk down and through there, and that's a lovely place to sit for a picnic there. Registered his birth just through there.
This is Hexham Abbey, and it's one of the most magnificent churches in the whole of the United Kingdom, if not the world. It's a Grade 1 listed church dedicated to St Andrew. And it's here in the town of Hexham, Northumberland, in the northeast of England. It was originally built in 674, and then the abbey was built up during the 12th century into its current form, with a few additions during, I believe, Victorian times.
And everywhere you go in England, you have the graveyards like this with the gravestones of people that have been buried there. Really enjoyed living here. Lived here from about 2005 or 6 until about 2009 when we went back to Thailand. Brings back so many memories. These two down there, last time we were here, he was in a pushchair. Time certainly does fly. Great to be back though. Wonderful spot. Tell you what, it's brass monkeys. There's the ancient Hexham Market Square. The market's not on today, but there's the old jail house over there. It's probably about 800 years old. Lovely jubbly. Ah, it's not open. I will come back and I'll show you inside.
Now, pretty traumatic early history. 875 Viking raiders, fresh from their raid at Lindisfarne or Holy Island and Babenberg Castle. They raided and destroyed parts of Hexham Monastery. And they ran the place, I believe, for quite a while. Let's fast forward about 300 years from there to 1296, when Scottish raiders set fire to the priory, destroying shrines, books and relics. A year later, William Wallace himself was here, Braveheart. He carried out another Scottish raid, attacking the priory, destroying what was left after the raid from the year before. About 14 years later, Robert the Bruce was here and he ravaged Tynedale, going through Prudhoe Castle all the way to Hexham, but he stopped short of slaughtering the priests here at the church. In modern times, obviously, it's a little bit more, little bit less violent, shall we say, but it remains one of the most important churches in this area, and it's absolutely magnificent. I just apologise that it was closed and I can't show you the inside of it today, but if you ever get a chance, if you're ever in Northumberland or in the northeast, Hexham probably should be first on your list. It's a beautiful little town. It's got a wonderful market, old buildings, and the abbey itself is marvellous. Come and have a look.